I like that orange, by the way.
Thank you. It's a shirt I made myself. It says Sisyphus and Happiness on the front, but I spelled Sisyphus so wrong that I had to do a separate screen to fix all the misspellings I did on Sisyphus. And I had to do it twice because I spelled Sisyphus with an O, which is wrong. Then I got the Y and the A. I should have redone the whole thing, but instead I made it a new thing where hi Andrew.
Hi, Brandon.
Okay, start that timer. There we go. So I made it a new thing, and I probably should have restarted it, but it came a new idea. Also, Sisyphus and Happiness. I don't it's from it's the philosopher. I think it's the one with the wonky eye, but it's one must imagine Sisyphus happy, right? It's about the absurdist hero. It's
Yeah.
and I think it's Godard. That can't be right. Me looking it up would be boring for people, but it's from the phrase "one must imagine Sisyphus happy," which you have to know that, and then know that I've boiled it down. This shirt is for no one, and sometimes you have to go into the studio and you have to make things for no one, so that you can make things for people later on. I made a shirt recently, and it just said, and it's in glow in the dark ink, and you can't really see it until it glows in the dark, and it just says the name John Cena written in invisible ink. Which is just for no, it's like it's for no
Yeah.
one. It's too many jokes on top of each
Yeah,
other.
exactly.
It's blue, and then the pull is blue too, so you can only kind of sort of see it. It's the spaces where the letters shouldn't be, so it's far too many jokes. So as always, I give permission for people to make things that are just real stupid. The back of this says the call is coming from within the house, but house is spelled the German way, like fashion house, which yet again, for no one wants this. But you gotta keep you gotta keep going, making stuff that no one wants, so that maybe someday you make something that people do want.
Well,
And
that's the advantage of making your own clothes, is that you're making them for yourself. That's
you may,
literally, you are making art for yourself because you're wearing your own art.
yeah,
So
you wear it yourself, and then you go, oh, can I buy it? And then you go, yeah, or here you go. You just give it to people, and then boom, suddenly, they say you're not supposed to give your art as a gift because it devalues it. I would like to argue, give your art as a gift because it gets it out of your house. So it's an important thing to do is just kind of keep going. We've talked about this before, is to keep going to the gym even when you don't want to go to the gym. When you feel fat and tired, you just go so that you can have good days. Yeah, did you hear that one Olympic lady talk about thirds?
no.
So if you're doing well, things should break into thirds, which is like a third of the time everything should be great, and then a third of the time everything should be okay, and then in your training, and then a third of the time everything's going to feel like crap. And that's the most normal feeling to have, and just to do is just to
Yeah.
you live in thirds, and that's what life is going to be.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a reasonable way to look at it, because in reality, it's not going to break down that evenly. It's probably disproportionately you're living miserably, probably, I think.
No,
But
you give yourself
yeah,
space for feeling good about what you do. And
yeah,
if you I would like to also give permission that if you've hit a point where it never feels good, or it's
yeah,
always bad, get a new hobby. Time
yeah,
to move on to the next thing. If it
yeah,
even if it's making your money, find a way to make joy out of it. If it's not making your money, find a way to find something that brings you joy, because it's always dark in the wintertime, and you're
yeah.
just gonna have to survive it. Even those lights that light up, they're supposed to make you feel better. It doesn't change the fact that it's dark outside. It just changes it slightly for you. So
Yeah,
try to get out, do that. And it's
yeah.
funny because I was gonna talk about how important it is to try to like get outside even when it's cold. That was my idea. I was like, okay, you need to get daylight no matter what. Like your goal is to get daylight even when you don't want to get daylight, because even if it's work, it's good to get in. Oh, nope, that just cuts me off. I was slouching in a way that I was really looking at this, and accidentally look at this too
Yeah.
much. And I went up and I was like, oh no, this cuts off too much. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I can move my little. Does that move for you too?
Looking the same on my
Ah,
side.
that's a shame. That's a shame. I can't. But I do think like if you're feeling stressed in an unbearable level, it is time for you to go outside. You don't have to go far
Yeah.
outside, but you know, it's the
Well,
if
and
you
that's what
think
makes this time of year is like, yeah, because what you're getting at is like it's so cold that you don't even want to go outside, that it's and there's definitely that feeling of it. Um because a lot of the outdoor activities that I personally like, are much more enjoyable in the warmer weather. And it's kind of hard to motivate yourself and get out there.
yes, and
Mm.
I don't know what to tell you, but you have to. It's
Yeah.
very unfair, and it's not. Gloves are great. Uh, I think
Well, and just getting the fresh air because you do notice like even this morning, I mean, the classroom that I was in this morning was really hot and it actually made going outside feel good, which
Mhm.
is maybe that's a technique that people could use is just like warm yourself up first, get too hot, and then like go outside and make yourself feel better. Um,
Yeah.
but but besides that, besides the temperature, like even if I am like cold outside, just going outside and getting outside of the stuffy air, and getting some fresh air and some breathing room. I mean, you notice it right away and just how
It's a shocking improvement,
it
and
is. Yeah.
I am not pro cigarette smoking, but I get why why people would want to smoke because at least it gets you outside for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, listen, if you're in a space where the only way you can get outside for 5 minutes is to smoke, don't smoke, but pretend like you're smoking. No one's gonna
Exactly.
notice if you do that. You're like, I gotta take a smoke break. Everyone, there's that like, oh, do I get to take a break if every 5 minutes if I want to go smoke? Yeah, you do.
Just
Just
take a
they're
break.
not checking. They're
Right.
not gonna check if there's a cigarette in your mouth. If you go outside and go, yeah, yeah, I smoke, and like, yeah, don't lie to your insurance about it. But if you need to lie to get outside, which is less true nowadays, but like get
Yeah.
outside for 5 minutes and just tell people you're allowed to tell people whatever you want about yourself. You don't have to always
You don't have to
be
always tell
this.
the truth.
I'm sorry.
You don't always have to tell the truth.
Yeah, you don't have to be a virtue of
Yeah.
honesty
Mhm.
at all times if it's not going to keep. You got to take care of yourself first. And if that means going outside when that smokers go outside,
Mhm.
then go outside and don't smoke. I don't think you should smoke. Don't do it. Don't you do it unless you
It
really want to.
it is funny
Uh,
to think back, because I mean now I mean definitely, I mean both you and I know people who smoke, but as a culture, I think at least, there's very it's very rare to find somebody smoking, I think, and
Well,
um
I hate vaping. I hate everything
yeah,
about vaping. One of the things I hate about vaping is the fact that people just vape and then just keep working. And I'm like, you missed the whole point of smoking. You
right.
missed like the best part of smoking is taking a couple
Taking the
minutes and just
breaks.
fucking standing outside. Now you're just like because like nicotine is a stimulant. That's what it is.
Mhm.
And like so all you're doing is you're just like, yo, I need to hit a thing of speed off my speed pen
Mhm.
just to keep going. And like, that sucks. That's terrible.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah. Well, and it's also like actually I forgot where I was going with the other thing, but yes, I think that's a good point. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, like
I forgot.
I want to be clear. I'm not for smoking.
Yeah.
But if you choose to smoke, take a break when you smoke. Don't smoke and keep work. You've missed the whole thing
Yeah.
about it is that you stop.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I was
good.
like because I don't know if this was the same when you were growing up because I'm a little bit older than you, but like, you would go to restaurants where there was like a smoking section and a non-smoking section, and like there was no difference because like, there was no barrier, there's nothing keeping the smoke out of the non-smoking section. So like you're like, there, you're staying in a restaurant, your booth is here, non-smoker, the smoker's booth is here. And it's like,
Yeah,
you're
I
it's the
also
entire
had that.
restaurant.
And what I don't think
Yeah.
it got a little bit better when they would lock the smokers up in a tiny glass cage, which was great. But I
Yeah.
don't. One of the things I always am interested in when we talk about the past that we don't seem to notice is how
Mhm.
much it was just stained with nicotine at all times.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because even like airplanes, I mean, anything you were
we
like,
were,
and every time I get a whiff of that, like that kind of memory comes back because the other day I was in this brewery again, and a guy came over to where I was and had that strong smell of cigarette smoke, like after you've, gone out for a cigarette break. And of course, like, I'm like trying to hold my nose and everything like that. But it also brings back all that, from the past of like where it was just around you just all the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think people understood how much that everything was just covered in nicotine.
Yeah.
Like everything was nicotine smudged. Everything was
Yeah.
nicotine smudged at all times for a while. I don't know if that proves any art statement.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah.
other than remember when
Well,
you
it's,
look towards the past, that it looks different than you actually think it looks because you look through it with the eyes of now.
yeah, and it's, I mean, definitely there's a lot of musicians and artists that are smokers. I mean, even now, but I mean in the past, I mean, obviously like that was, was just part of it.
Now,
Part of
did he
it, I
go
think.
out for a smoke break? He went out physically for a smoke break, right?
Yeah. And so he was kind of the old school, like not vaping, kind of thing. So went out for the smoke break,
Here,
getting the fresh
here's the
air,
thing.
in the 30-degree weather.
I want to be clear. I think vaping is a little bit healthier than smoking. I think it is just physically a little bit. There's still a lot of stuff we don't know. So if you have to choose between smoking and vaping, I'm going to say you should vape, but you shouldn't either. You shouldn't do either. But
I don't know
if
enough about it to say one way
yeah,
or the other.
also I build sets for money and I make
Yeah.
interesting collage pictures. So if you were to take, I'm politely asking you to take no scientific information from me ever. If
I mean,
I,
everyone's entitled to opinion, so.
yeah, but if I say something, I want you to kind of assume that the opposite is true. Like, or at
Yeah.
least even if I'm right in the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Well, were you like in your youth, like were you ever a smoker?
Oh yeah, I smoked till I was 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I got a big belief. That's also one of my big beliefs is I don't mind people who smoke.
Mhm.
That's fine. I hate the I know I shouldn't. Here's the thing. If you're gonna choose to smoke and you're gonna be an adult who chooses to smoke, you know the risks, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Feel good about it. Feel good
Yeah.
about the fact that
And
you're smoking.
embrace the embrace the risks.
Yeah, embrace like don't him and haw over your cigarettes and go, oh, I know I should like that. If you're smoking
Yeah.
and finding no joy in
Like
smoking,
either commit or don't commit.
do the bit.
Yeah.
You commit to the bit. To
Yeah.
like, don't go. Oh, I feel. I know. No, stop that. Stop. You can stop. I know you
Yeah.
can stop.
If
Enjoy it.
if you know that you shouldn't, then just don't do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Either do it with joy
Mhm.
or don't do it at all.
Yeah. Because I mean everyone's got their vices. I mean, it probably sounds like uh this conversation could sound a little bit preachy, but everyone's got their vices. I mean, I think that's I've certainly got mine, and and that's I think for whatever vice you have, then yeah, like it might be good to just embrace it and enjoy it.
If you should like, here's the thing. It does sound a little preachy.
Mhm.
Here's the reason why. I'm super preachy. Like it just you see me with a book in my hand, you're like, I know what that guy's about. That's in my blood. But like my thing is, yeah, exactly. If I'm not saying to be like, oh, you should do your vices. That's not what I'm saying.
Mhm.
What I am saying is, if you got to do vices, being apologetic about it isn't helping anybody.
Yeah, but still try it. But still try for self-improvement.
Just self if
Yeah,
either do or do
just
nothing.
don't him and haw about it. I
Don't him
think.
and haw about it. No,
Yeah,
your hemming and hawing
do
is not the most interesting thing about you. Write a poem about it and then do
yeah,
it. But if you're gonna
write a
smoke,
poem,
smoke. Yeah, I smoked till I was 25 years
write
old.
a
Do you
song,
smoke?
write a song about it.
Were you a smoker?
Never serious. I was a social smoker, but not anymore. So
The worst.
yeah.
Can I bum a smoke? No, you cannot. Get your own. Go away from it. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I seriously smoked till and I do not regret any of the smoking I did.
Well,
I
see
think
that was never an issue, like what you're talking about. It was never an issue until they started taxing the cigarettes like really high.
That's true.
Then it
That's
became an
true.
issue. So that's when I stopped being a social smoker.
So yeah, when they said when you were a burden to when you were a
Yeah,
real burden to other people,
exactly.
then you stop. That's good. Don't try not to be.
Mhm.
If you're gonna, you can be. You're not a burden to other people. I want to be clear. You're not a burden to other people.
I
But
appreciate that. Yeah.
don't let your vices be a burden to other
Right.
people. It's a slightly different thing. You
Exactly.
are not a burden, but your
Mhm.
vices absolutely can be a burden to other people. So it's
Mhm.
your job not to be a vice burden. You're not a person, but you're never a person burden. But you
Exactly.
can be a vice burden. And vice burden is what I would like this episode to be named.
Vice Burden. Yeah.
Vice
I think that
burden, yeah.
that's a pretty good band name too. You
It
know.
is. Vice Burden is. It is a great band name, or is it a Christian rock band name? Whenever
Oh,
it's
geez.
finding a
Okay.
great band name, you really have to
You have to
look
ask yourself
inside
which
your
one
own
is that
soul.
gonna be.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Like that could be there. Yeah.
That's another rule. We got
Yeah.
more rules coming, more life rules coming up, which is
We
don't be
do.
a vice burden and look inside your own soul.
Look inside your own soul.
Look inside your own soul and ask yourself, no, it's not just look inside your own soul. It's look inside your own soul and ask yourself, is it a good band name or is it a Christian rock band name? And you got to figure that out. Vice Burden, that's a Christian rock band. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. You shot down my hopes and dreams with that
And
one.
here's the thing, I want
Yeah.
to be clear. Being Christian,
But
totally fine. Being rock, totally fine. Don't go
okay,
together.
so I would say a Christian rock band name, but I think that it could be an album name of a non-Christian band. I think that could work.
I will accept. We will discuss this next week.
All
This
right,
is our
sounds good.
discussion of next week.
All
Yeah.
right, peace.